It's your boy Brandon Bravon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. Yeah. How's everybody doing today? All right, let's get down to business. Cut it off, cut it off. All right. Again, my name is Brandon Bravon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life. If you are a new listener again, definitely hit the subscribe button and become a member of that Sports Plus Life family. How's everybody doing today? You know, it's the weekend. I didn't come to you guys on Thursday, had a couple of things to do, just like Friday. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday. My daughter, London, she just turned 3 years old, so another happy birthday to my baby girl. And it's sunny out here today in the Richmond, VA. It's definitely sunny. It feels good, but today is Saturday, January 26, 2019. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about since the last time I hollered at you guys last Saturday. I just wanted to put this one out here. Like I said, I just hope everybody is doing good, doing well, feeling good, feeling great. If you're on the north side of the ground, then it's definitely a reason to be happy. You feel me? And, we're going to discuss the conference championship games from last week. We're definitely going to discuss the controversy as well as the upcoming Super Bowl matchup. We got boxing to discuss. Last Saturday night's welterweight championship fight between Adrian Broner and Manny Pacquiao. And, we're going to get into some stuff. And also, I'll speak a little bit about the end of this government shutdown and what an inconvenience and joke that was, especially to the over 800,000 government employees who had to suffer for nothing, for something that they didn't even have anything to do with from the beginning. So I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all, just keeping it 100, as we do. Again, this is Sports Plus Life. Okay, you dig? So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, first topic of discussion is we are going to go over Championship Sunday. We'll go from the early games and then we'll go to the late games. If you remember the last show that I had, I said that I wanted an epic NFC Championship game and an annihilation in the AFC Championship game. But what do we get? We got two epic conference championship games. I did a Facebook Live post after the AFC Championship game and said, as far as the day's games were concerned, the NFL definitely won. They definitely won because you couldn't have asked for two better football games, which is the truth. And we'll start off with the NFC Championship game that was between the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints. Well, as far as my pick goes, I said all year, even before I started this show, I said that the Rams were going to go all the way. Now, I looked at their off-season acquisitions with what they already had coming back, and I said this team should be playing in February. And they did. They are. The Los Angeles Rams went into New Orleans and beat the Saints 26-23 in overtime in a game that's going to be talked about until the end of time with football. And I'll get into that in just a second. Well, first of all, if you watch this game from start to finish, which I did, the Superdome was rocking. And I was watching on television, but it looked like as loud a place that I had ever seen, a visiting team have to come to. It got so bad that, it got so loud that literally it looked like the Rams offense could not hear. I literally one time saw Jared Goff run all the way to the end, to the split end, and give one of his receivers the play call because they couldn't hear. He was holding the earpieces on his helmet, and the beginning of the game, they just looked overwhelmed by the noise. The offense did. And the Saints jumped out to a 13-0 lead, and I said, well, wow. I said, the Saints might house them. This game might be over before it even starts. But then when the Rams had the ball down 13-0, it was a fourth down, and they called a fake punt where their punter threw it to Sam Shields, and they got a first down, which only propelled them to a field goal, but it gave their defense a chance to rest. It gave their offense a chance to try to get comfortable as best they could, just to try to get comfortable. That was easier said than done in that crowd. And before the half, Todd Gurley scored a touchdown to make it 13-10. And I was just thinking, this is about to get real interesting because the Saints came out and they hit the Rams right in the mouth. They hit the Rams right in the mouth. They had the 12th man, so to speak. I know that's really a phrase that Seattle likes to use, but they had the crowd on their side, of course, but to a level that was just unheard of. And even after, coming into the second half, which the Rams got the ball first, they didn't do anything with it, and the Saints were able to go score another touchdown, so it's 20-10. It's 20-10. But the difference really came after the first quarter, where the Rams really did nothing. They did nothing. And I believe from the second quarter on, the Rams outgained the Saints by a total of around 200 yards. So the Rams defense, which has been the healthiest that it's been all season long, really made a difference. Remember the first game that they played in week 9? I know I kept saying the last show week 11, but I was wrong, week 9. Remember how, that was, a shootout where the Saints got up 35-7 at one point, and the Rams came back to tie the game. And but still, the Saints were able to pull away and win that game. And Michael Thomas had over 200 yards matched up against Marcus Peters. Now, keep in mind, there was no Aqib Talib in this game. There was no Aqib Talib. The Rams didn't yet have C.J. Anderson. I believe he was still a member of the Carolina Panthers. And what a difference players make. What a difference, when you have, any coach can call up a great scheme. The crazy thing is that we look at coaches for this, that, and the third when things go right and things go wrong. Most coaches are gonna design up schemes that will work, but if you don't have the player personnel or the talent on the defensive or offensive side to make the plays work, then it's not gonna work. It's really just that simple and clear. And on this game, the Rams were able to implement a different defense once they survived the storm. They had to survive the storm because it was clear that the Saints were looking for the first round knockout, so to speak. And when the Rams survived that, it was just all about, what team was going to execute the best down the stretch of the game. Now, yes, did the Rams get a huge break? Yes. But there was also a issue on the other end where the Saints got a huge break. I'll get into that in a minute. Now, as far as Michael Thomas goes, you throw Aqib Talib on him, and Michael Thomas, who had over 200 yards the first time that they met, had 4 catches for 36 yards. No touchdowns. What a difference a game makes. What a difference. Drew Brees, who started off hot, ended up being outplayed by Jared Goff. Drew Brees went 26 for 40 for 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Not bad numbers, not at all, especially given the way that the game was going. Jared Goff was 25 for 40, 297 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception that he threw was early and went off the hands of Todd Gurley. Now, if you would have told me, and I say Todd Gurley because if you would have told me Todd Gurley had 4 rushes for 10 yards, he had the 1 touchdown, but 4 rushes for 10 yards, 1 reception for 3. If you were going to tell me that the Rams' all-world running back would have had that kind of a game, I would have said to you, well, I'm not going to say it would have been a blowout, because now you have C.J. Anderson. But I definitely would have said the Saints won. Now, be that as it may, when the score was 20-17, New Orleans, the Rams are driving down, and they're near the goal line. Jared Goff takes off on a run, and he got face masked. I saw it with the naked eye. A call that was clearly missed would have set up first and goal for the Rams at probably the 1.5-yard line. And I'm pretty sure chances are, there's a good chance, because nothing's guaranteed, but there's a good chance that they take that ball in for a touchdown. But they end up getting a field goal to make it 20-20. Now, the Saints have the ball, driving back. Drew Brees hits Ted Ginn for a big pass. And then, when the Saints can pretty much run the clock out and set up for a game-winning field goal, inexplicably, Drew Brees throws a pass that winds up going in the dirt to Michael Thomas, which stopped the clock and saved the Rams a timeout. So it gets to 3rd and 10, and he throws it to his receiver out in the flat, and yes, there was a pass interference call missed. Mikel Roby-Coleman hit the Saints wide receiver. He pass interfered with him. He helmeted him. It was about 3 penalties in one play. Should that call have been made? Absolutely. It should have been made. And everybody saw it. And should that call have been made, the Saints would have been able to essentially run the clock out and, get it to a last-second field goal, chip shot field goal attempt. But, like I said, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. So the call wasn't made. Now, like I said, the previous drive before that, there was an obvious face mask missed on Jared Goff. So we don't know what would have happened had both of those penalties been made. We don't know. All I know is that the end result of the non-pass interference call, the Saints still kicked the field goal to lead 23-20 with under 2 minutes to go, and the Rams having one timeout. Now, the Rams still were able to go down the field, kick a game-tying field goal from almost 50 yards to send it into overtime. So, basically, this is what I'm saying is that should New Orleans Saints fans be mad? Yes. But there's just been this public outrage because of that missed call. I've heard people say that it was the worst call in the history, worst non-call in the history of professional sports. I've heard even going to the extreme that the commissioner has the power to play the game over from that particular spot. For what? The fact is, missed calls happen all the time in sports. It's a part of human error. That's it. It's a part of human error. But what I do know is that the Saints still had a 23-20 lead with under 2 minutes to go. And it was up to their defense to stop the Rams from tying the game. And they didn't do that. The Rams tie the game. We go to overtime. The Saints get the ball first. So the Saints can say, to hell with all of this. If we score a touchdown, it's over anyway. But Drew Brees threw an interception. He threw an interception, and the Rams took that ball and went and kicked Greg Zuerlein kicked a 57-yarder on a bad snap and kicked it straight down the middle. That kick would have been good from about 65. He had enough leg behind that. And the Rams win. So be it. And I hear people saying, like I heard particularly Skip Bayless saying that, the Rams are kind of a counterfeit Super Bowl team. Well, you know what? Skip Bayless, who is such a Tom Brady supporter, you can't sit here and call anybody's team a counterfeit Super Bowl team, because if that's the case, then the 2001 Patriots are a counterfeit Super Bowl team because of that whole Tuck rule. And everybody knows the Tuck rule won't nothing but some bullshit. Charles Woodson hits Tom Brady, fumbles, the Raiders recover, they should have won, and they got robbed. And I ain't hear nobody asking for the game to be played over then. That really did cost them the game because the Raiders were winning at that point. And even still, in a blizzard, a blizzard, snow blizzard, at that game in Foxborough, the Raiders still could have still had matters in their own hand as far as their defense. Adam Vinatieri kicks a field goal in regulation and then kicks a field goal in overtime. So it happens. It happens. Is it messed up? Yes. Should there be rule changes? Yes. Should you be? I think within 2 minutes of each half, should every call be reviewable? Should a non-pass interference call be reviewable? Yes, I believe it should. I do. But we all know that new rules usually don't get made up until the outcome of a previous game has already been determined. I mean, hell, the overtime rule got made the way it was now, where each team could see the ball as long as the first team doesn't score a touchdown. That rule was made because of the 2009 NFC Championship game when the Saints, oddly enough, got the ball in overtime and kicked the field goal, and Brett Favre, who was with the Vikings, never got a chance to see the ball. I'm pretty sure that rule will be changed given the outcome of the AFC Championship game, which I'll get into right now. For one, I am sick and tired of the New England Patriots, but I have to give credit where credit is due. They went into Kansas City, and they were up 14-0 at halftime, completely had the Chiefs out of their game. And I was just saying, you have got to be kidding me. But then the Chiefs caught fire in the second half. They caught up, took the lead. They were going seesaw in the fourth quarter. But basically what happened in that game is that the Chiefs' defense reverted back to being the Chiefs' defense. You know, they had a couple of leads in the fourth quarter, and their defense could not stop Tom Brady. They couldn't lay a hat on him. They couldn't. And I swore up and down that, the Chiefs, who, as horrible as their defense has been, were the number one team in sacks, tied for number one in sacks in the league, that they would at least touch Tom Brady. And didn't happen. Final drive for the Patriots in regulation. Tom Brady throws an interception off the hands of Rob Gronkowski, taken away by penalty because D Ford lines up offside. Shit they teach you in Pop Warner. And that, in a sense, cost the Kansas City Chiefs the game. Now, with that being said, Patrick Mahomes was still able to lead with just over 30 seconds, his team back to kick a game-tying field goal. But the Patriots won the toss, and of course we know the rules. If you win the toss and you score a touchdown on your first drive, the game is over. You kick a field goal, you play on. And the Kansas City Chiefs defense had New England 3 times at 3rd and 10, and each time could not get the job done. Their defense reverted back to their defense. And since then, Bob Sutton has been fired. You think? You think? The time of possession was 2-1 in favor of the New England Patriots. Patrick Mahomes was on the field with the ball for 22 minutes and put up 31 points. And your defense couldn't even hold the New England Patriots to a field goal in overtime, knowing that lethal weapon that you have on offense, known as the quarterback who's probably going to be the MVP. I didn't think he would be the MVP, but who knows? Who knows? It's another case. Patrick Mahomes outplayed Tom Brady. Yes, he did. But his defense let him down. His defense could not get the ball in his hands for one more possession to either continue overtime or to either score a touchdown and bring it home. So, I'm pretty sure, like I said about the rule changes, the NFL will probably go now to the college football format where each team gets the ball no matter what. And maybe that's something that they may think about just doing for the playoffs. I don't think that would be a bad idea. I think that to do a test run for a season, they may just allow that for the playoffs. And if they allow that to happen, we won't see a fucking overtime game. So like I said, congratulations to the New England Patriots. Do I like them? No. Am I sick of them? Yes, like most of America is. But Tom Brady is going to his 9th Super Bowl, his 3rd straight. That's quite an accomplishment. And, he deserves all the credit that he gets. 41 years old, still doing it at a high level. Absolutely amazing. Which brings up now Super Bowl 53. Super Bowl 53, which will be next week in Atlanta, Georgia. God, I wish I was there. Not even to go to the game, just to be in the atmosphere. But it's a lot of storylines coming with this Super Bowl. For one, it is a rematch of Super Bowl 36. This is where the Brady and Belichick era began back in the 2001 season. Their first Super Bowl came at the expense of the then St. Louis Rams with the greatest show on turf, and also was the beginning of the infamous Spygate, where the Patriots filmed the Rams practice and used it during the game, essentially knowing the majority of the plays that were the Rams were going to run on offense, which made them very effective defensively. Now, needless to say, I don't think you need to worry about Spygate because that's going to be that's already been a topic of discussion. And if you've ever watched that game, one thing that the Patriots defense did was they beat the Rams up. And the rules are now totally different. You can't go out and hit these receivers like that without the ball, especially after 5 yards. You can't beat up the quarterback the way that Belichick's defense beat up Kurt Warner. That's not going to happen. So that's a storyline right there. There is so much familiarity with current players and coaches now from the Los Angeles Rams with the New England Patriots that I don't think everybody has truly thought of yet. I mean, let's think about it now. Okay? You're going to have the boy genius coach, Sean McVay, going up against, arguably the greatest coach ever in Bill Belichick. You got the old war hero Tom Brady going up against the new young gun Jared Goff, former number 1 pick. You have former players, or you have players on the Rams that have played with or against the Colts or the Patriots in several different occasions. You got Brandon Cooks, who was on the Patriots last year, who went to the Super Bowl with the Patriots last year. You have Aqib Talib, who played with and against the Patriots. He was on the Patriots team for 2 AFC championship game appearances before signing with the Denver Broncos and playing against them in regular season games and another AFC championship game and ultimately winning a Super Bowl with Denver, as the same with C.J. Anderson. C.J. Anderson, the running back, who was with the Denver Broncos all the way up until this season, played the Patriots numerous times, had a lot of success. You have Dante Fowler on the defense, who at the beginning of this season was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a sack specialist, who was on Jacksonville's team last year when they played the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, who was on Jacksonville this year, and I believe it was week 4, and made the critical game-clinching sack strip fumble on Tom Brady. And then you have Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, who, when he was with Denver, gave Tom Brady fits and hell with the defense that he ran with Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, because you had cornerbacks like Talib, Chris Harris. You had a backfield that could cover their receivers. Well, Wade Phillips has a similar situation. No, there's no Von Miller. No, there's no DeMarcus Ware, but you got Dante Fowler coming off the edge, and you have Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald didn't even have a great game against the Saints. They were doubling him, and Ndamukong Suh was an absolute monster in the NFC Championship game. So you have all of those things, and it makes for a pretty interesting matchup. It's funny how things can come full circle. The beginning of the Brady-Belichick era started with a victory over the Rams. It could very well end with a loss to the Rams. And you think that Rams organization doesn't want revenge? All I can say is to be continued, folks. I will get in deeper detail on the Super Bowl matchup later on next week. So, now that I've touched that situation, allow me to get into some boxing. Last Saturday night, in a matchup that I thought would be highly entertaining between WBA welterweight champion Manny Pacquiao and the brash, entertaining Adrian the Problem Broner happened just the way I thought it would happen, except maybe a little worse. What have I said has been the kryptonite to Adrian Broner? He's not active enough. When he gets in the ring, he just does not throw enough punches. He does not let his hands go. Adrian Broner seems almost incapable of creating his own offense. And Manny Pacquiao easily beat Adrian Broner. Easily. He had him in deep trouble in the 7th round. And then in the 9th round, hit him with a straight left hand, which to Broner's credit, he took it. He stumbled back. But he took it, but was in trouble again. And the funny part about it is that in the post-fight interview, Adrian Broner swore up and down he won the fight. Adrian Broner landed 50 punches the entire fight in a 12-round fight and 3 body shots. Are you serious? I can pin you up against the ropes and go, That's 3 body shots right there. So I'm like, what? You know, he was in the ring with Jim Gray. I beat that boy. Everybody know I beat that boy. I did it for the hood. No, you didn't. First of all, you didn't beat him. Second of all, I don't know what hood you did that for. Nah, bro. And I think Adrian Broner is an incredible talent. He looked great. He looked in shape. Reflexes, all of that stuff was there. But the fact is that Adrian Broner does not let his hands go. And in the ring against upper echelon competition, Adrian Broner has not gotten the job done. He has become strictly a stepping stone fighter. And by that I mean, when you have an up-and-coming fighter, a contender, they will kind of have a measuring stick fight against Adrian Broner. Now, I'm not saying that Adrian Broner can't ever win another title belt again, because in today's landscape of boxing, it's perfectly realistic that he could win another championship belt, definitely. But as far as, for one, headlining another pay-per-view, you can cancel that. You can cancel that. Unless he somehow hits the lottery. And all he would be is a stepping stone fight where everybody knows whoever he would be going up against, whether it was Terrence Crawford or whether it was Keith Thurman or Errol Spence Jr., everybody knows that he's not going to win. He is a stepping stone fighter now. That's where his career has regressed to. Unfortunate. You're talking about a guy who 6 years ago was looked at as one of the possible future faces of boxing, along with the Canelo Alvarez, who has now been regressed to a stepping stone fighter, because what he doesn't realize, when you're in a fight, you have to fight to win a fight. And he said they're just trying to get the money with another Floyd and Manny Pacquiao rematch. Look, man, nobody's betting on that. Not everybody even wants that. You know, now Manny Pacquiao, to be 40 years old, looked damn good. He looked great. Hand speed was there. Looked a little off balance when he would just rush in. Reports said that he had a cold or a flu or something like that, but that just makes it look worse for Adrian Broner, because you can't beat a 40-year-old man who came in under the weather. Really? And you're supposed to be in your physical prime at 29 years old? Come on, man. But Pacquiao looked great. Manny Pacquiao has set himself up, if not for a rematch against Floyd, which is not out of the question, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it. He has definitely set himself up for another fight, a big fight with one of these young guns. He's with Premier Boxing now. He's left top rank. So it's perfectly realistic that he could fight against a Keith Thurman, who fights tonight, finally. Or he could fight a Danny Garcia. Or he could fight a Mikey Garcia. I don't know if I do that, but just because of the style. Or he could even fight possibly a Terrence Crawford, which seems more unrealistic because Terrence Crawford is still with top rank. And they tried to make that fight a couple years ago. They should have. But it's perfectly realistic. Pacquiao is in the discussion. He's right in the mix of things. And he's still very, very, very dangerous. He is still very dangerous. So, you know, Pacquiao will continue to have bigger fights for bigger money. Adrian Broner will get pushed back to the back burner. I mean, like I said, if Adrian Broner fights about 3 or 4 fights in the minor leagues, quote unquote, against B and C level opponents and wins and looks good doing it, he can put himself in line for another title shot, but nobody is going to really take him seriously. Because in all of his biggest moments, he's wet the bed, unfortunately. He's wet the bed, and, that's nobody's fault of his own. That when you're in the ring, it's a lot to talk, to talk a lot of rah-rah, to hype a fight. But what are you going to do when you're in the ring? I posted on YouTube, he's screaming gang, gang, but he didn't do shit when he got in the ring. So, that just is what it is. So, what is going on now, of course, the NBA is pretty much the same. Golden State got shit on lock. Boogie is coming in perfect with him. NCAA, last week, Duke did beat Virginia by 2, but Virginia has bounced back since then. They're 18-1, ranked number 3 in the country. They won today. They beat Notre Dame by like 27. So, with that being said, what a buzzer, what a buzzer, what a buzzer! All right. Seems like this episode is going by fairly quickly. But anyway, as far as life goes, I'm pretty sure that everybody has known what is going on over the last month with this government shutdown. I never touched on it yet just because I was just waiting to get the words to kind of describe it. And it's crazy. They just reopened the government yesterday, temporary, on an agreement that had nothing to do with that damn wall that our president is so hell-bent on getting built. And, I mean, he just needs a reality check and just realize ain't nobody for building that wall. And stop having a temper tantrum saying, if I don't get my $5.7 billion, nobody's gonna do nothing. That ain't nothing but some spoiled brat-ass slave shit. I'm just being real with you. And I say it's slave shit because of your temper tantrum, you let the government get shut down. So almost 1 million government workers who are working directly for you, they're not getting paid. Sounds like slave shit to me. Because what was slavery? Workers who were working specifically for you and not getting paid. The only difference is ain't nobody getting whipped. So, I mean, I'm happy because at my job, I talk to a lot of people who have been affected by this government shutdown, and I just feel so bad for them because they're missing work and they're missing money and calling for deferments on mortgages and saying, just wondering how you're going to make ends meet. And it's just not fair because they don't have anything to do with this. And they're still going to be working on pins and needles because this shutdown is just temporary. They're still going to bring up stuff about this wall. I mean, like, come on, man. Come on. It's because you want to make America a gated community and everybody's not for it. Doesn't mean that you should have the right to prevent people who are specifically working for you from making a living. Now, I am going to say this, and this may seem like a shot, but I don't care. If you were affected by that government shutdown and you voted for them, how you feeling? That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, this has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. It's your boy, Brandon Bravon Towns. Again, if you are not a regular a member, definitely subscribe to us. I'll be back I'll be back again next week where I will definitely discuss the Super Bowl. I will discuss NBA. I want to discuss a little bit of baseball. I didn't get in that today because I figured I'd save that till next week of why I think that baseball is such full of shit, especially when we talk about the Hall of Fame. But again, it's your boy, Brandon Bravon Towns. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. I'm going to get back at you soon. So holla at your boy. Peace.